This book right here, Be Exceptional by Dr. Daniel Kavani, is a book that has got very insightful information, and really it brings out arguments that really can challenge your fixed beliefs, and it can actually give you some actionable plans that can really set you on a trajectory of being the best that you can actually be. And so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be presenting to you just 3 lessons that I have come across from this book that have hit me very hard and that I think are going to be very much helpful to you. Now, the author of this book, Dr. Daniel Kavani, who is also the founder of DNK Group of Companies and who has done many more other things that if I would start mentioning them one by one here, I would not have time, is the host of The Next 25. Now, The Next 24, I was there. Here is the proof. And I'm going for The Next 25. Now, by the end of this video, at least from the thoughts that are brought up from this book, I think you should be moved to go and attend this, because there are going to be other very good speakers. And there is enough time to get a ticket, and you can get the tickets from the sources that are here, or you can actually get the ticket from me, and the prices for the tickets are also indicated here. And so feel free to go down in the description area and find all my contacts in case you would need a ticket or you need to consult me for anything, and I'll direct you to the people that will be able to help you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, if you're new here, hi, my name is Simon. I'm a 5th year medical student at the University of Zambia, and on this channel, I really share from my own experience about things that I think are going to be helping you in terms of your learning experiences, your productivity, and I also share very powerful lessons from books, good books like Be Exceptional and a lot more other books that I think are going to be helpful to you. Now, before I begin, I would like to mention that the lessons that I'm going to be bringing out are packaged in such a way that they really reflect my thoughts on the things that are written in the book, and so there is a very good probability of me misinterpreting the author, and so you should not take my word for it. You can actually read the book for yourself, but I think even if you haven't read the book, you'll be able to benefit from these. But I'm just telling you that in advance so that you will know that in case I misinterpret, it's my bad and not his, and you have got the right to go and read and criticize if you have read the book. And the first thing that I would like to do is to break down the title. Now, the title of this book says Be Exceptional, the art of standing out and living to the fullest. Now, the word exceptional, if you look at it, it actually means unusual, or it can actually means superior than the average. It has got a comparative nature to it. It is really comparative. Now, that comparativeness has actually attached to it, and the author of this book actually emphasizes on that, and it is a very big lesson for you to learn, and I think I'm going to touch on that on the second lesson, so you should just stick around and stay with me. You're going to understand why. Now, one of the things that I see that the author tries to do in this book is he tries to bring a mindset shift to you, to make you believe that you can actually, you have all it takes to be the best, and a pin on the word best, which is actually again comparative, which I'm going to clarify. But really, this mindset shift may just look like, you know, the typical motivational speaker kind of thing where, no, you just believe it, you can be whatever you can be. But really, the way he presents them in this book is really in a very practical sense, and he really backs it down with very good reasoning in such a way that you can actually see the reason as to why he is advocating for such a mindset shift. Now, the issue here is really, it is actually true that you can only rise as far as you are able to envision yourself rising. You can only be that which you believe you can actually be. The other aspect which I really see feeding into this is it talks about 2 things. You must be very careful about people who are naysayers, people who are, he calls them gurus of failures, in the sense that most of the time it is very possible for you to believe from the get-go that I think I can do this, I think I can be this. But the moment you share those ideas with another person, you discover that they are able to tell you why, how they are going to break it down for you with statistics very well, how what you're going to do is going to fail, or how you are not capable because you are a Zambian, because you are in Africa, because you don't have a computer, you don't have all of this, because you are born in the rural area. They are going to tell you exactly why they think you're going to fail. And the other thing which I love about it is he talks about people who speak from wounds. There are some people who have definitely tried to do the thing that you want to try to do right now, and probably they did not have a good experience about it. For example, marriage. You may be wanting to get married now, and there are people who are divorced. There are people who were abused in their marriages, and they are speaking from their wounds. And without really putting down their experiences, you want to be an architect of your own destiny, and you want to listen to people who are speaking from healed wounds. The best example which I can give, the book which I really love from the Bible, is the book of Psalms. You will discover men who were wounded in there, men who really went through a lot of things. But because they went through everything and they understand the end thereof, you discover that with every wound that they say, with every complaint comes a ray of hope. They speak about things in truth, looking at everything in completion. Now, the other interesting thing is you could actually be the guru of failure to yourself. You could actually be the one speaking from a wound which has not yet been healed, because you tried 2 businesses and you have failed. You don't want to start the 3rd one. This is an enemy to the first mindset shift that he gave, that you have to believe that you're able to do this and you must be able to get that. Now, that's the reason as to why I was saying like this is very good, because these are very practical things. It's a dynamics of a lot of things. And actually, to just read from his book, he says, courage and believing that God has equipped you with all you need, irrespective of where you come from, to be the next big thing in this life and to possess the very best life has to offer, will determine what you get out of this life. And so this really concludes the first lesson which I have today. You really have to believe the truth. And the truth is that the Lord has endowed you with everything that you need to be the best thing. And you need to protect yourself against any other source, including yourself, that speaks against that belief. And I think it is true because it is God who gives the abilities and everything. And I'm going to touch a bit about this when I build upon using the second lesson. Now, you and I need to take some time to think here, because according to the proposition of this author, anyone, you and I inclusive, have got the ability to be the best. But yet the title says be exceptional. Now remember, I talked about how exceptional in its very sense, it is being superior than just the average. And so if all of us are going to be exceptional, really, who is going to be more exceptional than the other? And does it mean that we are only depending on our being exceptional by others not trying their best to be exceptional? It's a sad reality that not everyone is going to take the time and the energy to really try to get the best out of themselves, but the author does not use that as an argument for your exceptionality. Actually, what he says is, we should not aspire to be the best of our associates, friends, relatives, classmates, colleagues, or whatever social cluster we subscribe to. For if the cluster we aspire to be the best of it is the worst of society, then we aspire to be the best of the worst. In the words of my primary school headmistress, the best of fools. Yet, we should aspire to be the best we can be, for everyone that seeks to be the best chooses to seek after a higher purpose, the original, genuine, and uncommon. Seeking to outsmart yourself and your previous effort carries success, fame, and glory as an unavoidable side effect. Now, it is very, very important for you to realize that you've got a role to be exceptional, more exceptional, continuously being better than you were. And really this frees you up, because it is not an issue of comparativeness with your peers. Now, it is actually true that the world is very competitive. Now, what I really believe in, with the potential that the Lord has endowed in you, if you will get the best out of yourself, you'll be competent enough to have your place, at least. And the other thing which I love about thinking about it in this context is the sense that with this view of exceptionality, you've got no problem helping your other friend become exceptional, because you understand that their exceptionality is not a threat to your own exceptionality. So you have got no problem really working with the best of your efforts to make the best out of yourself and putting in your all selflessly to help your friend become exceptional, because you do understand that all of you, your exceptionalities have got a part to play in this life. And so it is a very important thing in the sense that it really reaches to your core beliefs and it becomes more of a stronger motivation and nobler motivation, at least in my opinion, to really develop everything about yourself. Now, the author is very serious about this in the sense that he goes a step further to talk about how you should stop masquerading. Now, this segment of the book, I really love it in the sense that most of the times when you're thinking about improving yourself, you're just looking at it from the point of view of, okay, this is the way I am, let me continue improving just like this. But the other thing that you have to recognize that at least by this point in time, you probably have made a few very bad choices, and you should not play around with the big fours, which is education, holiness, riches, and love. Now, when you read through this, you will directly understand that it is directly connected to the fact that your exceptionality is really rooted in you being the best that you can actually be. And so you have got no problem, even when you think your friends are advancing going forward, to go back and start recorrecting bad decisions that you had made. For example, if you're a student right now and you know that you've not been very intentional about being competent for your work, we've got no problem, even if you're a graduating student, to start going back to the basics of your knowledge to make sure that you really build yourself up. Even if your friends are actually upgrading, you may decide, as you are upgrading, you may decide actually to go back and really learn things for yourself. And this is very important because it really makes sure that whenever you're building on solid foundation, because the beginning person that you want to change is you, and the comparison is you and the new you. It has got very little to do with everyone else in as you live in a competitive world. Now, at least this author at least has a lot of things to showcase that this kind of mindset really has got the ability to set you apart in a way that does not necessarily diminish the exceptionality of other people. But at least even me, in my little experience, I can actually tell that it really pays to compare yourself to your previous self. It gives you nobler motivations to actually improve, and it really relieves you of a lot of unhealthy competition. The other thing which I'm reminded of, at least, which really talks to this principle, is really the parables of the talents. I really love this one because I think it is a very, very important one, because when you see the person who is given 5 talents and the person who is given 2 talents, they start from 2 different places. But if you think about their effectiveness, both of them are working at 100% effective, because the one with 5 makes them 10, the one with 2 makes them 4. So really, to another person's eye, when you look at them, you'll be like, okay, so you have 4, the other one has 10. But the truth of the matter is both of them are working just as hard, and both of them are actually getting the best out of what they can. And think of the person who has been given 5 talents and they make 2 more, and then after, meaning they have 7, and then the one who was given 2, they make 2 more, and they have what? They have 4. But if you think about it, the one who has 5 talents started with 5, now they have 7. So clearly they have got more talents than the one who has 4. But out of 5, they were only to make 2. So already the percentage is smaller. So if the one who has 7 now compares himself to the one who has 4 and says, I am better, he will never reach his best potential. He will have to regard himself saying, from the point where I'm starting from, I have to get the best out of myself, and that means doubling that and making it a 10. And the person who has got 4, now, when he looks at the one who has 7 and think to himself that he's less than that one, he will never enjoy the joy of his own effectiveness, because really he has worked the best and he has doubled what he has been given, and so he should actually be happy with that and try to double the 4 now into an 8. You get the point, right? So I'm going to be concluding with another segment of this book, which I think is very, very important, and that is about time. I'm sure we've heard of the concept Rome was not built in a day. The truth of the matter is, regardless of how wise, regardless of how well, regardless of how aggressive you become about becoming the best that you can actually be, you are still subject to time. It is going to take time. And that is where even the issue of comparison may not necessarily be of very good help. You have to put in the best that you can do, but realize that you are still subject to time. But that should actually be a good thing, because the author of this book talks about how time is one of the things that is never going to disappoint you. It is going to eventually reveal things the way they are. It is going to tell you the truth. It will not lie. And so if you are really doing the best that you can, if you are directing your energies and your efforts into improving yourself, it is just a matter of time. You will definitely reap something out of your efforts. And if you are not doing that, if you are deceiving yourself into thinking you are doing something and yet you are not living up to your potential, time will do its thing again. It will definitely reveal to you with dissatisfaction, with a lot of things to show you that you actually was not a good steward of your own talents. So the main principle which I get from this is really you have to be aware that you have to have patience even as you are working. But the patience is not grounded in false hope. It is grounded in real hope, understanding that really by sowing, it is just a matter of time before that seed grows. And if really you are taking care of that seed, it is just a matter of time before that actually starts to bear fruit. But all of that takes time. Regardless of how you water a seed, it will not germinate faster than it actually can. Regardless of how much fertilizer you put to your plant, it will not start bearing fruit before its time. So you have to realize that do what you can, but give time its place, and be rest assured that time is your good friend. It is not going to disappoint you. And so your patience and aggressiveness in terms of work can actually coexist It does not necessarily need to mean you have to be reluctant about your own improvement, but again, you don't have to rush your own development. Now, all of these lessons which I have shared, and I have packaged them at least as personally as I've understood them, are just in the first few chapters of the book, and I'm going to be sharing many more lessons that I'm getting from this book as I am reading through it. So if you think you want to listen to more, definitely subscribe. And if you want to hear, at least from the mouth of the very author, things that he has accumulated over the years, remember to go for the next 25 and get the tickets for me. All right, guys, that's it for today. See you next time.